This week on Pretty and Pride, we talk a bit about the post-Paris blues and my work trip to Atlanta and the couple of mishaps I had on that trip, including losing my luggage at the airport on my way home. We talk about how do other people pack, because I am not able to ever pack and not check a bag. We spend a little bit of time talking about a topic we've yet to broach on any other podcast, Mission Impossible. And then finally, we end with our weekly ins and outs. Thanks for joining.
Now it's Gucci on my feet. Them niggas took my brother, so we slid for a week. Go and take that tent, you gotta go, you gotta leave. Don't you come around here, pussy, around here, we play for keeps. Hey, yeah, my city fucked up, hope they Glock up in reach. A nigga ain't a pastor, but the young gotta preach to the youth.
Okay, are we kicking it off?
Yeah.
Oh, hi there. Welcome back, Pretty and Pride listeners. I'm your host, Kiki.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Ken. And I'm your host, Ken.
Thanks for joining us. Back at it again, baby.
In the mix.
In the mix. In the
What's
stew,
that from?
dropping beats. I mean, that's from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
In the mix?
I don't know what in the mix
That's
is
from Psych.
Okay. A big old birthday cake. Okay, well, let's just kick it off with how was your week, Ken?
My week was exhausting. First of all, I was having serious Paris withdrawal.
Oh my God.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like every day having to wake up and go to work was just like, oh, this is terrible. Like I need to figure out how to fund a life that doesn't require me to do this. Mm-hmm. And I had done a lot of work ahead of our trip to make it so that when I returned, it didn't feel like I was going to be overwhelmed with all of the tasks that needed to be done.
Yeah.
I was able to achieve that for about 50% of my work. The other 50%, I was like, I don't know where I am. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's due. So I'm managing it. And by the time I hit Thursday, I pretty much had already worked 40 hours. So we'll see how next week goes, but I think things will start to normalize for me. Sure. How about you? How was your week?
My week was insane. I, as you know, landed back from Paris, and a few short days later, I was back at the airport, headed out to Atlanta for work.
Little jet setter.
I'm a jet setter. It's so funny because on this trip, I was, people knew I was going to Paris, and they were asking about it. And I was like, yeah, I basically got back and I flew out here. I'm like, and how cute is my life? I'm like, because you have to romanticize it or else I'm really stressed out. And similarly, one of my bosses asked me, they're like, how you doing? Like, how are you feeling about work and everything? I said, I don't have a thought about it. I have no idea what's happening. I don't have my finger on the pulse anymore. I haven't been home for 2 weeks. The minute I got home, I worked one day and then I came out here for all day meetings. So I'm happy to be here. It's not a complaint. I just don't know how I'm feeling about anything.
Relatable.
But I thought that my week was really good. You are very lucky in your week, even though through the withdrawals, because you had a little visitor. The cutest little visitor.
Oh, I did. Yep. A little bean bean.
Little bean, my little legume, stayed at his auntie's house while I was, the poor kid. I mean, his mom has just abandoned him multiple times throughout this month. All he had to come for him was a little baguette I got him from Paris. So
He was so cute with that baguette.
He's really
I would be like, Bean, where's your baguette? And he'd look at me and then he'd look around for it and then he'd go get it. It was really cute.
he's cultured. He knows what all the good foods are. So,
a cultured pup.
Yep, absolutely. And speaking of pups, if you guys hear tippy tapping in the background, that is a pup walking their way around. And it's so cute that I don't know if we'll edit it out.
She's obsessing over leaves blowing.
It's so,
flowers
so
blowing.
adorable. She's got many thoughts in that head. So, okay. I don't want to get into maybe some random stories from this work trip.
Okay.
Specifically, one thing that happened that I kind of told you about. I don't want to tell the pod. This work trip was particularly insane because there were 2 distinct meetings happening on this trip, and I was involved in both of them. So normally when we do like a work trip, it's like, an agenda or a purpose is one thing. But I had 2 meeting groups with 2 individual purposes. So not only was I jet lagged, exhausted, missing my house, I had to be on game for 2 different meeting reasons. She's a slay. So After the first group of meetings concluded and we moved right into, I'm talking one of the days was half of the day was I was in this meeting and then the next meeting started the second half of the day. I'm like, okay.
Cool.
So when that second half of the day started and the first meeting was getting ready to leave and go to the airport, one of the guys on this trip couldn't find his AirPods. Man, we were sitting in this conference room and like his whole team is walking back and forth on Find My iPhone, pinging it. They're coming in, they're like, did you guys hear any AirPods ping? And everyone's like, no, leave us alone. I even made a clip of like, it's not our job to be responsible for your stuff. So
You said that?
yes, I did say that. And so that's fine. The day concludes fine. They all leave for the airport. The day concludes. I'm digging through my bag. And what do I find? But this man's AirPods. I am in the middle of this meeting with, by the way, very high up people at my company. And I just go, no! No! And they're like, what? I'm like, I found his AirPods in my bag.
So you actually were entirely responsible for his
You know,
stuff.
here's the thing though. Someone could have tossed them in there. So I'm not taking full responsibility for finding the AirPods, but once I found them and I calmed down and had to take responsibility for getting them back to this person, I messaged him on our work messaging platform. I'm like, good news. I have found your AirPods. I am the hero you think I am. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Did he ask where they were?
No, he didn't, and I didn't offer that
Where did you
information.
find them?
I said, you won't believe it. I found your AirPods. He was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I'm like, you're welcome. I'll see about mailing them out to you. Maybe when I get back home. He's like, I will totally pay for the cost to ship them to me. And I'm like, I'm actually going to see if our office can consume that cost and we'll send it from the mailroom, but I'll let you know for sure. And I told my boss, I was like, she's like, I can't, she's like, I love that you didn't tell him where you found them. And you're just like, look at me, I found your AirPods. I was like, yeah. Well, and I told her the same thing. Technically, I don't remember putting them in my bag. So someone else could have thought, hey, these belong in this bag and put them in there. So I'm not foregoing responsibility. I'm just saying I'm not convinced I'm 100% responsible.
Yeah, you're not going to consume that responsibility.
Right. Now, other things that happened on the work trip that I just want to note, what was missing from our trip to Paris was just the lack of Mission Impossible options on the flights to and from Paris. I need movies 1 through 7 as an option for me to consume at my leisure. Flying to my work trip to Atlanta, I texted you, I was like, oh baby, they got Ghost Protocol on here. I think I said something, I was like, I'm just gonna lay back. Oh, because when you guys dropped me off at the airport, your husband made a comment. He's like, what entertainment are you gonna bring on this flight? I was like, nah, I'm just raw dogging it. And he's like, oh my God, what a nightmare. Well, I get on the plane and they do have seat back TVs, handing out headphones. And I said, GP all day, baby, on the way to Atlanta. So that was great. And then on the way back, they also had all the Mission Impossible. So I watched Rogue Nation and started Fallout. And the guy sitting next to me, his TV wasn't working. Oh, so I got upgraded to the extra, so the TV's like pull out this way. Anyways, the guy next to me, his TV didn't work. And so I was like, it's okay, we'll share and you can watch what I'm watching. So we watched Rogue Nation and Fallout together on the way back.
Okay, so you have your headphones in, watching.
I turned on the
listening.
subtitles. No. I my TV and my headphones in, and I turned on the subtitles for him.
So he could watch it.
Yeah.
And he could listen, or he could read the dialogue.
Correct. He's lucky I wasn't watching it in French. So actually, he was a cool seat buddy. He like got me the Biscoffs, and they would have given me a free drink, but I'm not drinking alcohol. So I was like, no, I'm okay, because he works adjacent to the airline, so they were being all nice to him.
Oh.
So yeah, he was a cool seat buddy.
Yeah. I wonder how he felt about the fact that like his TV didn't work, considering how
He probably handled it a lot cooler than someone that didn't work for the airline, because I'm like, dude, this sounds like hell. It also sounded like hell when I found that guy's AirPods. I was like, dude, he's raw dogging it at the airport in the wrong way. I just know he's stuck on that plane with nothing but his thoughts. That's a freaking nightmare scenario.
Dude.
So I feel like he probably would have, like, as a regular passenger, maybe you feel similar, but he works for airline adjacent, so he's
Yeah.
a finer consumer.
Dude, when I was on my way to pick you up to go to Paris, I realized I had left my iPod. I had to turn around immediately. Thank
Your
God we only
iPad.
Sorry, my iPad, not my iPod.
Yeah, I don't want people thinking that you're some weird nostalgia creep that's like hanging onto her iPod shuffle from 2000.
My iPad, like I live and die by that thing. I hardly used it when we were in
I
Paris.
know, you were
But I was
complaining.
like, there's no way I can get on this flight without having my iPad. Like,
Did you use it on the flight?
I did. You know,
Yeah.
I did. But no AirPods, no earphones. I'm buying them at the airport.
Oh, for sure.
Paying a premium.
That's what they were saying. They're like, he probably bought some. You know, you got to be solutions person. Sometimes in life will throw you a curveball. That's why I usually travel with 2 headphones, not for fear of losing them, but because I feel like my ears will get annoyed if I have the same thing on them for too long.
Yeah.
So be a prepared person, and then if someone accidentally picks up your AirPods and steals them and then gives you a hard time for looking for them, you'll have a backup plan. You can be like me. I'm not like these other girls out
What
here.
a
Okay?
power move.
I don't travel with only one pair of headphones. I'm very mindful about being entertained on a plane.
Yeah, I love that. I think like if I was in that dude's position and someone had TV next to me, I didn't have the ability to watch or listen to my own entertainment, I would be very pleased if they were willing to put on Mission Impossible and the subtitles.
He had said he'd never seen Rogue Nation. He had seen Fallout when I put that on. I was like, we finally finished Rogue Nation. I was like, and we're ready for the next one. I was like, I'll do a split headphone situation with you if you want, you know.
Ooh, intimate.
I mean, they're free headphones.
I
on
know,
the
but
plane.
you know,
This is
linking
a little
up,
much.
just connect.
Thankfully, he said no. But yeah, he was a cool seat buddy. His name was Eric. Shout out you, Eric. Good luck in life.
Good luck in life. I was so excited for you that you had the opportunity to watch these Mission Impossible movies on the plane.
Slapped.
But at the same time, I was really upset because I feel like we had suggested doing a marathon. I did not think that it was going to be separate from one another, but it turned into now we're doing it separate. And I started my own Mission Impossible rewatch last night.
But I feel like Mission Impossible is one of those things I could watch it all the time. So
can
nothing
watch
to
it.
say that watching it
I mean,
individually doesn't mean we can't
yeah,
also
we're
have a together marathon.
I turned on my Hulu last night.
Oh yeah, you texted me.
Yeah, because I've been watching New Girl, which the TikTok algorithm has picked up on and continues to send me videos of all of
It's
these
just so
vocal
nice to see
stints.
funny things in 3-minute clips. Even if I just watched the episode.
I'm
it's
like,
so
I
great.
just watched this episode. So I've been watching New Girl, so I turn on my Hulu. First thing it has at the top of its billing is Mission Impossible 4 Ghost Protocol. I was like, oh yeah, we're getting into it.
Yeah, I
Like,
can't wait.
They must have read my text messages with Kiki and were like, oh, you like this.
Got her.
So I finished GP. And Hulu does have this cool feature where it's like when I was watching Aliens and Predators, it was like, all right, here's the rest of the franchise for you. And I finished GP and it was like, all right, you can watch Mission Impossible 2 next. I was like, absolutely not.
Find a better
Mission
one.
Impossible 3 or Mission Impossible 1. I was like, excuse me, we're on 4. Where is 5? Where's Rogue Nation? Apparently that is on MGM Plus. I'm not downloading another.
What? MGM Plus?
I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I go into my hard storage of like, where do I have this Rogue Nation? I
know
have
where
it.
you have
It's
it.
in standard definition. I was like, I will rough it.
Don't you have it with all your Marvel movies?
Yeah, on my hard drive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
It's
lucky
in
you have it at all.
standard definition. I was like, all right, I'll watch it. So I started watching it, fell asleep right before they go into the water.
Oh,
I know, right when they arrive in Morocco. So I'll be picking that up.
I love it. I'm jealous.
Fallout and Mission Impossible 5 are both on Prime Video, as well as MGM Plus, I think.
Oh my god.
I don't
Well,
even
I'm
know
not
where I can watch
subscribed to
Mission
Prime
Impossible
because I
7.
don't like Jeff Bezos.
I know. And I think I don't know if I told the pod this already, but like I had this whole thing with Prime where I wanted it renewed on a card that includes it. So basically like I can have this subscription, but I'm not feeling like I'm giving Jeff Bezos money. My credit card company is giving Jeff Bezos money. they would refund the subscription, but they wouldn't replace it on the new card. They needed to cancel it and have me re-sign up. I was like, that's really dumb. I'm not doing that. So now I'm just without Amazon Prime, which is like fine. But, you know, having a real Sophie's Choice moment over here because it's like, I want to watch Rogue Nation in HD.
100%.
And I don't know what to do with myself because I only have it in SD. I guess I got to go buy it.
And, you know, it reminds me of that you can't buy DVDs anywhere. Like, remember? We said, Mom, go to the store and find this DVD. I think it was Inglourious Basterds we were looking for.
Yeah, we were looking for...
Target doesn't even have a DVD section. I was
Yeah.
like, this is insane. I remember I used to be in the mood to watch something. This was before streaming took off too much, but Netflix was still around. And there was like a 90% chance I'd find the DVD I was looking for at the store. And I have a DVD collection, as you know.
Yes.
I love owning the hard copies because... Baby, when that powers out and you have a laptop that takes a DVD in it or the internet's down, you have a backup plan for pure entertainment.
Amen.
And I know you guys know what I'm talking about because those times where TikTok, the algorithm wasn't working. Like, remember when TikTok went down a few times and it wouldn't scan? Like, dude, people were losing their minds. That's how so yeah, you need a DVD collection to get you through those times.
When my Wi-Fi goes down, I am so grateful over the fact that I have multiple DVD players. I would just
be sitting and looking at the picture app.
What's crazy about Target not having DVDs is that they have an extensive vinyl collection.
Yes.
I'm like, what timeline are we living in where it's like we're selling at a mass rate the vinyl collection of Taylor Swift and Dua Lipa, but I can't find a DVD of Inglourious Basterds.
DVD.
One of Quentin Tarantino's finest.
I mean, they're all fine, and there's only so many.
I know. Now I'm wondering if now I got to go see if my hard drive has that. I don't think I own this movie. I don't know. Anyhow, so I'm enjoying the Mission Impossible rewatch, and I actually do love the idea of us. Let's connect. Let's get some popcorn and let's light it up, baby.
I love it. I also am happy to hear that it's on Hulu because I was telling your husband before we started recording that I am, posting on TikTok more. I have a goal to post every day for 30 days. Follow me at @moncherie_Kiki. And in that same goal, I'm also trying to limit my TikTok time to only 1 hour a day. So I won't be watching anything you guys share because I don't have time. I got to see what I got to see in this 1 hour, okay? Through May. And with that, it means I need a new form of entertainment. And that's going to be old school. We're going back to TV. So I'm excited that Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol is going to be on repeat in my home for a while. Also, Tom Cruise looks insane on that recent. Love him. He was promoting the great work of Ryan Coogler for Sinners. But
yeah,
I was like, that's a sim of Tom Cruise. Like
that. Yeah.
Why does he look like? I mean, he is like what, 60 something now. So
it's like a young guy or an old guy who's holding on to his youth is what he looks like.
I don't want to come for anybody's looks, but I was like, this doesn't even seem. If it wasn't Tom Cruise page, I would have thought AI generated that image. So, anyways, I was thinking about that because you were saying watching the movies in HD. I'm like, how's that gonna look? So, anyways,
well, and he's held on to his looks for a really long time. Like even watching these Mission Impossible movies, like he's maintained like what I would assume everyone in Hollywood is getting work done. And like, I think some people have better work than others, depending on what they do.
True.
In my opinion, right? They have to live with themselves and look at themselves and like what they see. I don't really fucking matter. But like, when I think of someone who like looks natural as they're aging, I'm like, okay, like some of them have had better work in that regard. This looked like, okay, we've jumped a shark here a little bit. So we'll see how he looks in the final mission.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
We need to plan to go see that. That comes out, I think you said 5/23.
Or 5/17. May is turning into a stacked month of activity.
Insane. I'm like looking at it. I'm like, I don't know if I have any free time in May, and we still need to go see Sinners. I have somehow avoided the full plot synopsis spoilers, but I know a lot about this movie.
Yeah, I know a few spoilers.
I know, so we'll see how that goes. I'm sure it's gonna be Michael B. Jordan times 2. Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah,
I'm there, baby. So we need to see that, and we need to plan to see Mission Impossible. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of what started popping up on my timeline on TikTok is like Letterboxed, which I know people, my friend uses this, the one who's going through like watching movies and stuff, like the old classics. I'm like, I'm not getting another app just to track what movies I'm watching, like whatever. But somehow that's popped up where they ask celebrities about like what they think, like which of their movies do they think is in people's top 4 on this app.
I saw that.
And so like watching these on my timeline reminded me that there are some Ryan Coogler films that I feel like I should probably also see, and also the Korean director Bong Joon-ho, who did like Parasite. I guess he also has movies that cast Black people. I'm like, I need to go watch these films.
Facts.
You know, I gotta support my people.
You know, Ryan Coogler, I feel like his accent is insane. And I was like, I can't pinpoint this accent. It sounds like European, Southern Californian, but everyone says it's very typical for Oakland. And as someone who was talking about how for a long time I didn't recognize my accent when people would say it, they're like, oh yeah, I can tell you're from California. You have an accent. And I'm like, what accent? And like sometimes like this week when I was in these work meetings, I'm like, why do I freaking talk like that? Like, you're so annoying. And like maybe it's heightened doing a podcast, and I'm like, dude, you got to do something about this. Like,
it's interesting that you bring up accents, because as I was editing and listening to our most recent episode of this podcast, I continuously found myself cackling and hollering at your Oklahoma accent. Oh, big city girl. I'm from Oklahoma. Like that.
I'm from the big city. I'm from New York. It's like, well, the people like you wouldn't know what it's like down here on these farms. You're right. I darn sure wouldn't. But little did you know, I'm truly from a farm in Oklahoma. No way.
Your Oklahoma accent and that story of like,
Insane.
You want a sandwich? No, save it for these people. Well, that's why we're selling all that merch.
That movie was so crazy. I love Daisy Edgar Jones. Normal People ruined my life like it did for so many people. She does such a great job. But yeah, that was a fun movie for everybody. Speaking of, this is so random, but my nail color I think is called Twister. So
not random
for the folks at home. Okay.
Not random, but very connected.
Very connected.
Yeah, I've been seeing you posting on TikTok, and I think it's been really cool. Now you're motivating me. You're motivating me.
I'm trying to be better. It has been annoying, which I talked about in my most recent very short TikTok, about how when I first got on TikTok, I don't know, maybe it was like 2 years ago, I avoided it for a really long time. And then just like you, as soon as I got one, I was like, this is the best thing ever. I'm suckered in. I'm deep in it. But my original TikTok, I was just using to browse and lurk. Now, because I did that for 2 years, I have the best curated FYP that's specific to me. So I did start a new TikTok at @Kiki, another shout out. And I am trying to post more, but I really hate being on that TikTok because it's not curated. So I'm like, okay, I tried to curate it. I was like, okay, what have I been watching recently that I like? Summer House. So I searched for Summer House, but now it's just Summer House. It's just Summer House. I'm like, and it's summer, and like because it doesn't know what I like. It just shows me things from 2 months ago that I'd already seen on my original FYP. I'm like, I freaking hate it over here. I'm done. I'm going back I'm posting my video. I'm going back. So I need to take time to curate it, but I don't have time because I only have an hour a day this month. So I can't waste my precious TikTok time on just 3-month-old Summer House videos.
A misery of your own making.
I mean, seriously.
Again.
It's getting better. The first, I don't know, this is not a reflection of me, but the first few days on this Kiki, it was just all about drugs. I was like, okay, where the hell is this coming from? Like, just random people's stories about drugs, and I was just like, okay, so I got rid of that part. So it's a lot more interesting, but not interesting enough.
What's scary about the TikTok algorithm is that I sometimes find myself listening or starting a video, and then I'm like thinking about like, oh, if I watch this for too long, now I'm just gonna see more of this. Like, do I actually want more of this or not? And so then I'm like, should I continue listening to this, or should I just fucking move on to the next thing? Like, I feel like I have to be this really active participant in my algorithm creation, because otherwise I'm gonna be in some dark web at some point of like, now all I'm getting are stories of people or cooking videos. And it's like, I don't want to just watch people cook trash. I want to watch this one guy talk shit about people that cook trash. That's it. I don't want to watch a bunch of people cooking things. I also don't want to watch, just a bunch of people eating food. It's like, I don't need to see that all the time because I'm trying to be a little better about myself. So yeah, I've gotten really thoughtful about like, all right, I can only spend like 10 seconds and then I got to move on. I got to tell TikTok yay or nay.
There has been such an evolution of the types of videos I've seen through my time. I went through the horse hoof video phase where all you saw were these guys fixing people's fixing horses' hairline fractures in their hooves and getting the pus out of their hooves. Like, I've seen that. I've gone through the cooking video ones. I've gone through pimple popping. I've gone through long form story times about how men treat you like crap. I had to stop watching those because I'm like, okay, please.
Rinse and repeat.
Please. Yeah. And then it's the most heinous story you've ever heard in your life. And then they stayed with him for 3 years after that. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. But yeah, thinking back to different.
Okay, so you can constantly be retraining the algorithm.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's giving me a little bit of hope. Mm-hmm.
Get up out the jungle, niggas killing just to eat. Them lies ain't playing fair, so it's been getting I don't give my heart away. This shit hurt me every day. I get on my knees and pray. I'm trying to find another way.
One of the things that I've been thinking about is like, how do I reclaim the experience of our Hawaii vacation? Like because of my Paris withdrawals, it's like, first of all, the U.S. is just so, It's like the first time I saw a Cybertruck returning, I was just like, oh my God. Like,
tell me why I land in Atlanta. I go to my hotel. I go downstairs to eat dinner at the hotel bar, and I immediately see a MAGA hat. And I thought, oh my God.
It's like these people, they're just, their identity is wrapped up in this weird social political
movement. Like out of a reaction of like, anyways, so I'm just like, whatever. Whatever.
It's just so funny to me sometimes when I think about it, because it's like, I think we've talked about this, where it's like, I am not a fan of anything to that degree. And like, I like a lot of things. Well, okay, I won't say I like a lot of things, but I like things, right? And I would say that I like things to be, I watch certain things obsessively. The concept that I would like decorate my entire wardrobe or my car or my house, like every day I wake up and like put on like Beyonce merch or Taylor. It's like once in a while, sure, but these people, I just feel like they are taking it to another level.
So the redhead don't go with nothing. Okay, it doesn't match any of your outfits. So
I just don't understand fandom to that level in general, and so it's just very strange to me, because I feel like even people who are like religious, which I feel like is a strong part of people's identity, like I don't feel like it is done in the same way, if that makes sense, where it's like every article of clothing is like proclamating like someone's belief system. And it's like, for whatever reason, this like whole MAGA like social experiment has just like really made people be like, no. 90% of my clothes need to tell people that I believe in Trumpism. And it's like, I don't understand it. Okay. But seeing a Cybertruck in the wild again, it's like seeing Trump stickers, just being reminded of, like listening, watching or reading the news. It's just like you're just jolted back into the reality of like, oh, we're not traipsing around cute, streets in Paris anymore. Like, we're back in this fucking ghetto hellhole that is the U.S. I'm just like, so how do I get to my next trip? And I'm not talking about the one that's coming up for us. I'm talking about the one where
your soul is alive again.
Yeah. Room 557, baby, yes. I'm living the dream, putting everything on the room, my dad's room.
Yeah.
If I'm really living the dream, all expenses paid. So I'm like, I feel like I need to start planning the next vacation. I've shared this on this pod before, but like, one of my weekly ins, I think, was like just planning vacations like as a form of escapism. That's kind of where my withdrawals have led me back to. Is like I'm like, all right. I was thinking about Hawaii today. I was like, man, that was a great time. You know, the beach, the weather's perfect. I looked good. You looked good. Like we all looked good. We was having a good time.
Ube coladas.
How
for
do
days,
I get back?
Which were
to
just
that?
smoothies. Just 10 smoothies a day.
400
I
calories.
showed up 10 pounds lighter, and then I gained so much weight. I could not lose that. I still haven't lost that weight, honestly, from all those smoothies. I was thinking how, like, it's kind of hard because it's a rough time in this country. I haven't even started listening to NPR, my podcast, every day anymore, because I'm like, nah, I'm not ready. But, like, the idea of traveling is also so burdensome in a way. Like, okay, like, we have so much going on this year that I'm like, I can't take another week to go to, I mean, I could, but I'm not going to. It feels like too much of a lift. So I was talking to my friend today at coffee. I was like, maybe I need to start doing more mini weekend trips. Like, I've never been to Seattle.
I think about that all the time.
God, let's plan a trip to Seattle.
We should
Because I'm
go.
like, we can do like a Friday to Sunday
Yes.
thing and like just like be a little more romantic about like there's so
Yes.
much of even the United States to see that I'm like that have turned it into too much of a big thing where it's like I can just plan a trip to go to Seattle.
I was talking to my husband about this. Maybe last year, like, you know, we have the opportunity where there are flights from where we're at. It's like, all right, you know, if we can find a flight for $100 to just go to a little different place, somewhere we've never been, like, we don't have to plan everything. We can just go there, get some coffee, get some food, walk around. I don't really want to go to Seattle. All right, well, you don't want to be adventurous. You don't want to see things. Fine. So I totally agree. I think we should totally do that.
should totally
I would
do
love that.
I bet you it's like great there in the summer because it's on the coast and it's so foggy up there. It's
I
probably
bet, like the trees are probably really green.
like summering in Seattle. Oh, let's do it because it's gonna suck other places. So, okay, I like this idea.
Yeah.
Also, I like the idea that like I hopefully can make it smaller in my head and not spend $500 on my Seattle outfits. You know, like we just do like we keep it small, we keep it simple, we keep it cute.
Are we talking like a carry-on bag?
Okay, I don't want to talk about. I was so frustrated. Now I am going to talk about it. Now you better knock the door, baby. I'm going on this Atlanta trip, 3 days. Okay. Okay. So I go to pack.
How many nights?
3 nights. 3 days, 3 nights.
Okay.
I go to pack. I actually, in my head, I'm keeping it really simple. Now, normally, I'm just going to say, normally when I go on a work trip, I always have my hair straight because I don't want to bring my hair care. Okay, we got my skincare and my makeup, which you have to bring no matter where I'm going. I think you should bring 2 pairs of high heels because it's bad for your feet, in my opinion, to wear the same shoes back to back that are heels. So you need 2 pairs of heels. You definitely need like flip-flops for the hotel. And then you need probably like a dinner shoe because you don't want to wear your heels for 20 hours. That's me. So, and then on top of that, I would like to also bring after work clothes. So you go from, this is what these trips do. You go from the office to the happy hour to the dinner. Okay, so it's like there's no free time, which is fine. But I would like to go from the office to the room to change to the happy hour to the dinner. Okay, so a second pair of clothes. I don't want to wear my work slacks all day long or my skirt or whatever. Okay, so I pare it down. I say I bring my 3 work trips plus 1 extra just in case. You never know, a button can pop off. Okay. My 2 shoes, whatever. I pack it all up.
Sorry, your 3 work trips?
My 3 work outfits.
Okay.
So I pack 3 outfits plus 1, so 4 work outfits.
Okay.
1 pair of yoga pants, 2 workout clothes, 2 workout outfits, which I was going for 3 days, so I should have brought 3 workout outfits. But I was like, the yoga pants can double as like in the hotel slouching around. So 1 pair of pajamas, which I wanted to bring 2 originally. So I really did some thinking. I put it in the packing cube. I say, okay, I think this is the time I might be able to do a carry-on. I put my packing cube in the carry-on. It takes up a 1 whole side. I said, okay, that's not going to work because my skincare takes up a half of the half of the
4
suitcase.
pairs of shoes.
So take that out, okay? And I decided I'm going to check a bag, which is like, this is like a in-between, I think. It's a little bit bigger than the carry-on.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not like the big check bag size.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll do that instead. This is so traumatizing for me and it's so stupid. I take that down. I only bring 1 pair of work shoes. I bring my Crocs, my platform Crocs, like a cute after work dinner shoe. And also could double as like by the 3rd day my feet are killing me, so I'll wear these to the office shoe. Mm-hmm. And then my pair of flip-flops. That's it. I take out a pair of pajamas. That's why I only brought 1 pair of pajamas. I don't bring any post work. No, I'm wearing my slacks all day, baby. Okay. Like I don't bring any clothes. And then I bring one extra tiny shirt that can fit, that's like still work appropriate, but it's like short sleeves, so it's small, and one dress. I think that's small. Okay. I take, I don't even bring my full-size hairbrush. I take my mini hairbrush. All right. So I really trimmed it down. I had to jam this suitcase closed. I was so pissed off. I'm like, they like really stressed me out that I went to bed that night before I left, and I'm like tossing and turning. Like, why can I not? Like, is everyone so good at packing or something that I don't understand? Like, I'm like, so I try to take more stuff out when I go to leave the next day, and I still have to jam it closed. Luckily, you bring me a bag that can fit something in it and still be a carry-on.
Yes.
So I bring one extra pair of jeans with me. I bring one extra pair of jeans with me for an after-work fit option if I'm just really dying in my slacks these days. And you know, the thing is that I feel like you do need an extra pair of clothes. First of all, when I go on work trips, my stomach always hurts. Like, you're eating a lot of food and you're sitting down a lot. So I'm like, what if I feel really fat in this outfit the next day and I don't want to wear that? What if a button pops off and I don't want to wear that? And you might be thinking, that's really paranoid. Why would a button pop off? Well, tell me why. Day one of this trip, my mini hairbrush that I've had for 3 years that I pack on this trip breaks while I'm brushing my hair for work. Well, that's fucking great. So I'm like, okay, this is why I overpack, because things like that do happen. You do snap your high heel on your work trip, and that's the only pair of heels you brought. So I'm like, I don't know how anyone else does it. One of my coworkers brought a bag almost the size that you gave me. Like, imagine smaller than a carry-on size, like almost like a laptop bag, but flipped this way. That's all she brought for the whole trip.
That's insane.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
White people. Non-black people.
Where's your lotion? Where's your skincare? Where's your makeup?
Okay, to be fair, there are some people who trust that when they arrive at a hotel, they will be using hotel lotion. They don't have skin problems. They don't have, they trust in these. They trust. That's insane. That is insane. I don't even I often bring my own soap.
I bring my own soap and my own washcloth, like my own, I brought my African net sponge with me.
Because I can't, no, I'm not using
I need all the comforts of home. I'm trimming down, you know? I'm like, okay, like, you know me, I have like a $10,000 makeup collection. I have so much makeup. I use so many, I'm like, I'm bringing this one little bottle, okay? But like, even then I get paranoid. I'm like, okay, so I'll bring this serum. I'm like, okay, but what if that serum runs out while I'm there? So I'll have to bring a full version of the serum. That's why, like, when we went to Paris, I always, when I travel, buy a new bottle of lotion. Because I'm like, imagine I bring, you know how those lotion bottles are? It feels half full and then all of a sudden it stops pumping. I'm not banging this while I'm trying to get ready in the morning, rushing to work. And then another worst part is that I feel like I had a lot of room in that bag that you let me borrow. So I said, I'm going to be Gucci, baby, on my way home. I have more room now. No, I was not Gucci. I was Fucci. And I struggled so much that morning. And like, mind you, I'm getting ready for work. I'm packing. I'm trying to get out of this hotel. And I'm like, ooh, it makes me so mad right now. And then I get to the airport. I check this hell of a bag, get it off my chest. I go to the P.F. Chang's in the Atlanta airport. I have myself a good time with some of them lettuce wraps, okay? I land, and you pick me up from the airport. It's been 20 minutes. My bag doesn't drop on the carousel. I'm so tired, okay? I've been traveling for 2 weeks. I'm stressed out. I just want to go home. Nothing's working right. I asked you to check the air tag. It's under your account. You're like, it says it's at the airport. You share it with me. Mine's not loading. I'm going to the Delta app. I'm like, it has where's my bag? So I'm clicking that. That's not loading. I'm like, okay, fine. I look at the other carousels. It's not there. I finally walk my happy little butt over to the Delta desk once I see it. And as I'm walking up to just unleash, no, I'm nice. I see that they've sequestered luggage in this one area. That one area is overseen by a police officer. He's sitting right there. And he says, is that one of your bags in there? I said, yeah. So I'm thinking they need to do some additional security search, whatever. He's like, okay, do you have your luggage tag receipt? I'm like, I do, but I feel like 90% of the people don't have that. That's an insane method that you just explained. But I don't have time for questions or anything right now. So yeah. So I dig that out of my bag somehow. And then I'm like going to hand him. He's like, no, grab your luggage and I'll compare and make sure that that's the right luggage. I'm like, okay. So I don't ask any questions, but the people behind me who were also probably irritated were asking, why is our luggage over here? And he said that Atlanta sends out so many flights as an airport that if you check your bag early enough and they have other flights going to your city, they just send them on to another airplane to be waiting for you when you arrive.
But they don't tell you.
They don't. I'm like, they don't say nothing. They don't put it in your app. Like, hey, when you get to the airport, go do this. Like, hey, your baggage is already there. They just have you sitting there like an idiot at the carousel, circling around, looking for other carousels to see where your baggage is. And I'm just like, okay, you know what? Actually, I should call their customer service and complain because that is insane. But I was just happy to have my bag. Yeah, because what I also want people to understand is that after these work trips, even though I work remote, it's not like you're like, okay, I'm tired. I'm really tired. But it's fine. I work from home. I'll take it easy the next day. Now, you know what happens on these conferences? Outcomes. Okay?
Items.
The action items. They want stuff delivered and they want it delivered ASAP. I got to get back. I got to brief my team. I got to start pulling reports. I'm like, I'm so tired. But yeah, so we're back today. I was telling your husband, this is a really long monologue. If you want to interject, please do. I was telling your husband that I have gotten my oil change today. I got a car wash. I did Pilates. I did some cardio. I went to the store. I went to coffee with my friend, and now I'm here. So I'm back at it, ready to rock and roll, baby.
Wow.
Ah.
So all of that from
Are you going to
weekend
check back? That's just a little insight into my brain. I'm like, am I going to check
Seattle?
back?
Okay, first of all, question: do you roll your clothes?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I tried that at Paris because you told me that it didn't save me any space. It didn't.
I just want you to know that in Paris, I was able to pack your shoes and have plenty of room still left. Now, I feel like my bag was still pretty full, but I was able to add an entire box of shoes to my luggage because I utilize and optimize the rolling method.
Okay. Well, I'm saying that
I'm just
I
not
did
doing it
try
tight
rolling.
enough.
Okay. Well, how much effort am I putting into this?
Well, I mean, you want to pack 14 pairs of clothes.
But they say that like matter is matter, you know, like it's cells.
I'm not because first of all, you know that the states of matter between gas, solid, and air are very different.
But no, nothing is created or destroyed. It's all the same.
Equivalent exchange.
So fold or roll, it's the same item of clothing. And it's taking up the same amount of space in a different way. And so I tried rolling, and I did roll some stuff. I mean, if anything, I think it saves you from ironing maybe when you get there. But it didn't save space in my luggage. I'll keep trying, I guess. But I'm now I'm so old.
I just know that it has changed my ability to pack. And one time when my husband was packing his bag, maybe you can attest to this, but okay, first of all, I mean, I don't want to, it's like a man packed a bag. Okay. So he packs his bag. He's like, oh, I'm having trouble. He's probably packed similarly to you where it's needs an undershirt for every day, maybe 2 undershirts, because sometimes it's you want to change for the night, it's I don't have those problems, obviously. I am not wearing 2 shirts in a day every single day. I guess men have that problem. But anyways, he packs his bag and is having trouble. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll do what frickin' wives do, I guess. And now I'm repacking his bag. Man, I got everything to fit. Rolling it.
Okay.
So
I'll try again. Maybe you can teach some lessons or something. Schedule a webinar and teach the rest of the world.
oh my God, do a TikTok?
Yeah. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah. All that to say, I would love to do a weekend trip to Seattle. I think we should try to limit ourselves. Carry on personally.
We should. Okay, but we'll do carry on. We'll try. Because my problem is, and it always stands to be, is that what pair of shoes am I freaking wearing on the Seattle trip? You need different tennis shoes for every outfit. You need a nice pair of shoes for a nice dinner. You definitely need a flip-flop. I need options. And so it's what am I I felt in Paris, you brought those wedges. That was a good option. I didn't have nothing like that.
Yeah, but I wore them one day because just wearing them that one day, despite how comfortable they were, because I wore them on a day where we traipsed around the entire fucking metropolitan area of Paris, I couldn't wear them any other time. I was I'm not doing that to my feet. The Crocs, however, very cute, very comfortable.
But then
very
even with the
flexible.
Crocs, I felt like sometimes they weren't going with my outfit. I didn't need a black shoe. I needed a different colored shoe. I needed a black and a brown option.
Well, then
And so
you
I guess-
change what outfits you bring, because all of your like
my
I make it so
God.
all of my outfits can be, and sometimes you can wear like a cute sandal,
Yeah.
like especially if we're visiting in the summer, so it doesn't need to take up as much space as like
I
a
guess
full
for a
wedge.
3 day, who really gets me on this is my friend. She also overpacks a lot. Like us together on an overnight trip up to up somewhere. We're like 4 bags, trunks full.
That's insane. I mean,
Well,
but
I want all my stuff with me. Like it's not insane. It's not insane.
I
It's
mean, if it
normal.
helps you and brings you comfort.
She's like, I'm gonna bring my full roller set.
I just
Full
remember
roller set.
coming back from Paris feeling like I brought 7 outfits that I didn't even wear.
I
which
remember
was
feeling
great.
that way too, but I was so glad that I had them.
I'm glad that I had them. I had the room for them, so it was fine.
Yeah.
But I would have felt a type of way if I was like, I had to forego other things I wanted to bring to fit this.
I feel like it would be much worse to be there and feel like I could have fit this and I didn't bring it. I
Yes.
really wanted it.
That's true. So, I mean, I had the space, so I brought it. But
Yeah.
like, I don't want to add an extra bag just so that I can have 7 extra outfits,
Okay, so we're in agreement. Carry on-ish to Seattle. Yeah, I think definitely, and I can do one of those things. I was talking to my friend today about it, and she was saying what she also does is she brings like her personal item is like a big.
Yeah.
See, that's my problem. Is I don't do that. I do a little tiny backpack, and then I I check all my other crap. So I'm like,
So that you're just like free in the airport.
yeah, I
being
hate
cute.
lugging shit around in the
No.
airport. I like to just like, just a little backpack, no shoulder problems like we had in Paris, like just my wallet, like my wet wipes.
Yeah.
I mean, even my carry-on, I'm like, I need wet wipes, I need tissues, I need 3 different forms of chapstick.
That's fair. But I will say, like, the carry-on or the personal item bag that our aunt bought us, which were amazing.
Was amazing.
For Paris. I feel like they would be able to pack a lot of stuff. I would be able to
would.
put an outfit in there and probably even like a small pair of shoes, if I like a pair of sandals if I
Yeah.
needed to. And then I can put it on top of my carry-on, so I'm still like kind of free in the airport.
Because that's only good. That bag's only good if you're putting it on top of a carry-on.
Yes,
But
it's
I
not-
also have a mental thing where I actually like checking my bag. I don't like to carry my crap around the airport, so I gotta figure it out. I'm gonna work on this.
Well, now I'm also thinking like, well, also don't want to be in a position where I gotta gate check my bag.
That's the other thing. Like, that's why I'm so big on checking my bag because I'm
Well,
like,
no,
not you
you
had
just-
me hauling it around for 2 hours and at the last minute said, sorry, baby, you're out of luck. Like, no. The
Well,
whole
yeah.
point was that I could get off the plane and go to my thing,
Yeah,
and now
and-
you've ruined that. And
well,
anyways.
I guess we'll just have to buy first class tickets. So there's
As
that.
per- well, great.
Now
Now
our
it's not a
weekend trip
cheap, quick weekend getaway. It's a $2,000 trip to freaking Seattle. Like, I don't fucking think so.
Before we even
This
got
is
the
why I
hotel.
don't travel, because this is how it always goes. All of a sudden, it's just a quick little turnaround trip, carry-ons, cheap, $200, no biggie, and now it's a $2,000 mini vacay
before a hotel.
Okay. Ay, I don't fear no man, but I'ma still put 60 in this Drake. Set it off like Queen Latifah, nigga playing with my cake. Split the bag up with my brother, 50-50 what we make. I can't let no nigga eat that ain't contribute to this plate. Run it up, I just need.
Okay, let's get into our weekly ins and outs.
D'accord.
In for me this week, y'all, Dave Venchi released his first full album, King Venchi, and let me tell you, it is the soundtrack of the summer. I am ready now. Let's go. And it's 16 songs. So good. There were so many that I loved. Actually, I love the whole thing. But one thing I thought was interesting is he did that cute thing when a rapper adds in like a love song to his track. I think it's so cute. And so he has one called Cater to You, but then he follows it up with Freestyle, which is definitely not about love. So I thought that was really funny. But yeah, I feel like every song got like, it just kept building on it. It was just such a good, solid album. 4 a.m. in Cali, great song. Some of them you might recognize. And, from our music, he lets us license his music for our podcast, intros, outros, etc. Because we're such big fans. But some of them I'm like, yeah, you need to send me the files for those so that we can edit those in because they're bangers.
Yeah.
Hi, hunters.
In for me this week, is something that I haven't had the opportunity to do because, like you, I work from home. But we've got some outdoor excursions planned with other people, some social activities for the month. And we had talked about this while we were on our trip, but I want to start introducing some French customs into my American interactions. We will be very annoying, but I'm going to try it. You've been a little gun shy about it, but we've been talking about, the French do the les bisous, like the little, on the side of the cheek. I want to start doing that and also just also being like, bonjour, mes amis. Like, salut, ça va? Oh, hello. Just really annoying and see if anyone calls me out on it. So I haven't had a chance to do it, but I'm looking forward to the opportunity. I did have the opportunity and then forgot that that's what I was going to be trying to do. So now that I've reminded myself, I'll report back.
It's really hard to remember sometimes the character that you want to play. But yes, I agree. I also am like, I need to start wearing berets more because first of all, fashion. Second of all, really versatile. Now I need to buy more berets. But yes, I love that idea. I also, seeing the French girls do that was so freaking cute. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Slay.
Yeah. I want people to think that I'm not like these other girls. I'm cultured, I'm cutesy.
I'm cultured.
I also, looking back on our pictures from that trip, it's like, because I work from home, I'm pretty much a gremlin 99% of the time. I get dressed primarily for this recording of the podcast and the occasional once a month excursion outside of my house. Occasionally my husband and I do date night. So I'll also put real clothes on. Otherwise, for the most part, I'm in pajamas, workout clothes, and that's how I manage my day-to-day work life. Reviewing the photos made me realize, you're actually kind of cute.
Right?
You actually know how to put together a decent outfit. You should do that more. And I came back from Paris totally determined, have not followed through.
I get dressed every day.
Yeah, we know. You're just a better
they
person
don't know.
than
I'm
most
just
of
letting
us.
them know. Dude, this is not just for the pod.
The lady who needs 2 pairs of heels on her work trips, we know she's getting dressed every day. Okay, $10,000 makeup collection. Yeah, she's putting it on every day.
She has a spending problem, and she does not pay attention to expiration dates. So, yeah. Anyways, I also do want to say that I wear nice tops, yoga pants, bottoms often. It's not like I'm sitting around my house in jeans. Okay, so I'm like, but
yeah.
There is something to be said about getting dressed every day. I really enjoy that and showing up for myself and I like walking past the mirror and being like, yeah, you got it. So, yes. I also felt like, everyone's always talking about how fashionable the Parisians are. And maybe they are, but, we was holding our own. So I certainly didn't feel like no schlub around that country. So.
Yes.
Out for me this week is being responsible for other people's personal items. I didn't like that. So no, we won't be doing that again.
We're not gonna do that. Out for me this week is American cheese.
That's so good.
I don't know what type of pasteurization process, chemical steroid. I don't know what's going on with the cows, the goats, all of the lactating animals, farm animals of the U.S. But when we were in Paris, I just felt like I could enjoy the cheese. And, it wasn't demolishing the insides of my body. But for some reason, as soon as I touch down in the U.S., it's my body's no, we're not doing cheese anymore. Okay, we're done with that. And I've been really upset and suffering about that.
Yeah.
So it's not, again, I am going through serious withdrawals from a mental place of I don't get to just be not working, traipsing around, spending money and eating delicious food all day long. So that's really depressing me. But now to find out that actually I really just miss the opportunity to have good quality cheese. I mean, Emmental cheese. That's not even a cheese you see most places in the US or is used most places.
You texted me about this and you're like, I don't know if you're feeling the same way. And I said, I have no idea because I've never eaten plates of cheese on the day-to-day basis back to back. So I was suffering in Paris. But just because of the sheer volume of cheese I was eating and not because of the type of cheese. But I'm glad you brought up goat cheese because I'm giving up dairy for the month of May. And I don't think that counts. So,
look at you, loophole.
Loophole.
Why doesn't it count?
Because dairy's from cow.
Is that the requirement?
Yeah.
It's not just any lactation
I mean,
product.
maybe it is. Let's look it up. What makes it something dairy? I feel like it's like, dairy. How do you even Google this? What's dairy?
Yeah, what constitutes dairy?
Anything that lactates. So mother's milk is dairy. Breast milk.
Mother's milk. This is fucking McPoyle.
Okay, well, I feel like in the purposes of my diet,
Okay,
it's
yeah,
cow's
you
milk.
were
How about
just
that?
referring to cow dairy, not other types of dairy.
Yes.
So you were looking for goat loophole. Like sheep's milk is okay, which is disgusting.
Uh-huh. Okay, yeah, it's the whole thing. I'm gonna look into this more.
Why are you giving up dairy? For what?
For May.
Why?
Why not?
You just, I need to understand. You woke up on April 30th and you were like, I need to give something up for May.
So you know how we did that cleanse before? That cleanse, part of it is, it's not even a cleanse, it's a diet. It's a 30-day diet. Part of it is no dairy, no bread, and no refined sugar. That don't kill either. As I did non-dairy from cold brew. So
I know it says no sugar, so like is this
no, I am also
sugar?
trying not to do but it's once I run out of sodas, I'm not buying more.
Okay, so
I still have 2 Diet Cokes in my fridge.
It's like
so
the rules. I can't keep track of.
You don't have to keep track of them. It's my rules in my head. So starting Monday, I won't have any sodas. Oh my God. I don't need an accountability buddy. I got this.
I want to know, like, does that count as refined sugar? Like, I don't know.
I mean, it's worse than refined sugar. I'm also giving up all my sugar substitutes.
Okay, so you're doing this cleanse for May, which includes giving up dairy,
Joy.
refined sugar, and bread.
Yeah. I think that's it for today. Yeah. Oh, one thing I wanted to let everyone know. It's with a heavy heart that I say I've deleted Duolingo. The streak is over. They've claimed to be an AI first company, which is a crazy mission to adopt. And I said, I have Google Translate and translate on my iPhone. What do I need you for? So plus it was pissing me off with something related to my lessons. Anyways, I deleted the app. The streak is over. We're going to find a new way to continue to learn French, including my podcasts. So the streak is over. We're done with Duo.
Tragedy indeed.
I mean, I was going strong, but you know.
I don't know, like, I haven't given much thought. I probably should for our trip to Japan, mine and my husband's trip to Japan. Like, what level of language fluency or comfort I should have with the Japanese language.
Have
My
you tried
Japanese
the podcast I sent you?
No, not
Just
yet.
like, give it a shot.
I mean, I can try that. My level of Japanese knowledge is really restricted to most of the manga that I've watched in anime form. So yeah, I don't know.
I have a friend going to Italy, and her significant other are going to take lessons, Italian lessons.
That's
leading up to their trip.
adorable.
It is adorable.
Where does one find things like that?
She's resourceful, and she lives in a big city. They have all sorts of stuff.
Oh, big city girl.
So, yeah, she's a big city girl. I feel like you should have some level of, I mean, not fluency, but know some words. I feel like I almost want to use the Michelle Thomas method podcast I sent you to see how much Japanese I can pick up. The brain is capable of a lot, but I don't know how much more I'm capable of. So I might skip, but I'm interested in your thoughts on it.
Okay.
If you guys do it and listen to it. Thanks for joining us today. It was another fantastic week. I just want to ask, you think people that are lactose intolerant can't have goat's cheese?
I think it's about an enzyme in...
Ask my friend. Okay. I'll ask her after. I mean, I don't do some things, I forget about it. Okay. Thank you for joining us this week. We totes a prish. No, again, totes prish. Thank you for joining us this week. It's nice to be back in the flow, in the groove, talking to my sis, talking to y'all at home. Yeah.
Yep, I had a lot of fun.
Always.
I'm looking forward to listening to that King Venchi, which I will get onto post-haste. And a little shout out to one of our most faithful listeners, subscribers, Amanda. You know who you are.
XOXO.
A.
Stay pretty.
Stay prideful.
Especially if you're Black and Amanda.
You can't finesse. Bitch, I move smart like a motherfucking Tesla. I'm clutching this Glock, do I look like a wrestler? Get put on your back, tryna act like a flexer. Hold on, wait, this Glock take 'em out like a date. She give me the pussy, I just want the face. Fuck her real good, put the bitch in her place. I'm high in the bitch, but my mind up in space.